Okay, what happened? 2020 came and suddenly our lives changed. If you go back to the beginning of last year and you think of where you were, what you were doing, and we heard about this thing that it was happening in China. And, I remember the memes of everyone with the Corona beer, and it was a lot of jokes and fun. But there was a reality that was coming upon us that we weren't actually ready for. And exactly, literally a year down to the date, South Africa went into lockdown. And it fundamentally changed our lives and how we do and process things. And this is what's brought us to where we are right now and why I'm sitting here right now. My name is Deon Rebello, and the company I represent is DCX Bullion. Firstly, I'd just like to go into the story of the global economy and where things are and where they've been, and what was going to happen prior to 2020. But what 2020 brought us was a lot of things that have fundamentally shifted. And if we go down to the basic things, like if you look at what you were paying for groceries this time last year, you'd go into the shops and you'd pay X amount, and then suddenly it's been reduced in the actual size of what you're purchasing. So the power of the money that we're spending has become less. Then I look at the other side, and this is a very, very serious side, where I personally know people that have lost their jobs. I know people during COVID, during the lockdown periods, that had to cut back on salaries. And we've all experienced this. And this has been a global phenomena around the world. In the States, they've spoken about unemployment rates that they've not seen for literally the last 80 years. And if I look into South Africa, it's overextended to where we were before, and it's become even a greater problem. And how has it affected you? How has it affected you personally? Have you had to look after loved ones? Have you had to support more people that your small salary was battling to support your own families? Did you have to have payment holidays on your credit facilities, which are now slowly starting to catch up to you and put more pressure on the little bit of money that you have available? Even further, did you have to take good, solid assets and sell them to cover your basic costs and basic living expenses? And I mean, this is a question that I'm sure everybody that's listening to this can actually understand and realize and has felt themselves. And this is part of where we are and why we come into this as a business, as DCX Bullion. But I just want to go back a little bit. If I look at what happened with COVID-19, and of course, governments came in and they said they do quantitative easing, and it would be this magic pill that's just going to sort out everything from the economic side. But the reality is this: nothing comes for free. And the reality is all that money that was printed out in the trillions and trillions of dollars has to have an effect on things. So if I look in the US alone, in 2020, they produced 21% of all the dollars ever manufactured were produced last year. And the dollar has been going since 1913. And to realize that 21% of all the physical dollars ever produced were produced last year, it's scary. But what does that do? What does it do to the power of the dollar? And I'll speak specifically on the dollar. It changes things. If you looked in 1913, gold cost $18 an ounce. And if you look at right now, what a dollar's worth to an ounce of gold, and this is an ounce of gold here, that's an ounce of gold. This is worth about $1,700 right now. What is a dollar worth? What can a dollar buy you? And this is the important fundamental question that we actually really want to bring to you for you to understand and to realize is the power of your money, your wealth. What has happened in the global economy? If you look over the last year with the mass amounts of quantitative easing, and it's a way of the governments to help small businesses, help families, help to bring in vaccines to support the mass need of rolling out a vaccine for the pandemic. But the reality is this has come at a cost. Because, of course, with the excessive amounts of money coming in, that has caused the rand or the dollar to start to be devalued, lose its actual value. So how do you see that? You see it through the buying power of when you go to the shops, when you're having to actually buy. But the other side of it, and the most important side, is, has your salary increased? Have you been able to cover those changes in costs on goods that you buy every single day? And that's the concern, is we're looking at things where before you would probably be able to cover them. Now, suddenly with the mass increase of costs, that is now fallen away. So what is the solution? It's very simple. It's been around with as long as we've been trading as human beings. And the one major thing that can support you in these times of mass uncertainty, and it's how the global economies have been able to support themselves. And it's simple. It's through gold and through silver. These commodities have been able to help hedge against all these uncertainties throughout time. And whenever these big moments in history come and we face them, for instance, in 1929, and as we went into 2008, and of course, where we are now. And I just want to go a little bit back on this, because a lot of people seem to think that COVID-19 has created this mass economic problem. The reality is this. This was known many, many years ago, after 2008, and this was called the everything bubble. And the anticipation of this bubble and where it is now and where it's about to collapse and how it will fundamentally change everything. And this is one of the most important things when I mentioned gold and silver, is these are the commodities. If you make sure that you've got your wealth in, they will be able to navigate you through the unforeseen times that we face. In our next video, I will go through why gold and silver are a safe haven asset and why you need to consider it as part of your wealth saving strategy going forward. I would like to remind you that firstly, we are not financial service providers, and all the information we offer has been backed by our research. DCX Bullion is a bullion supplier, and our focus is to make sure that we bring you the best possible products within this asset class that will offer you long-term generational wealth, which is one of the key points of what we focus on.